Ms. Ball, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
Let's begin.
Miss Daniel, good afternoon. My name's Corinne Mull, and I've got a number of questions that I'd like to ask you. Isn't it true, Miss Daniel, that the reason your visitation was terminated with the girls was because you failed to show up for several visitations?
That did happen.
Okay, that did happen. So that is why the visitations were canceled and you no longer had visitation, correct?
Not all the visitations.
Other times it was because you could not make it. Isn't that correct?
I think we saw it was because Layla was sick.
So let me turn your attention to August 3rd, 2013. Isn't it true that on that date you communicated with Jennifer and told her that you would not be coming to visitation? Do you recall that?
I don't.
Do you recall telling her that you were sick?
I do remember being sick, but that was. I mean, I don't specifically remember the conversation.
Well, let's see if this refreshes your recollection. Take a look at this and see if this helps refresh your recollection. Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you missed? Isn't it true that you canceled visitation in August of 2015?
Yes, I was. I was just really. I was really far along, pregnant with my third child.
And
So,
Jennifer told you that was okay, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So you only got visitation thanks to Jennifer, correct? You didn't get visitation at the Browns, did you?
No.
You didn't get visitation at the Lamberts, did you?
No.
It was only Jennifer who said to DFAC she would allow you to see the children, correct?
In August, yeah.
In August. And in July, you saw the children. In August, you were sick, correct?
Correct.
And then in September and October, you missed several visitations. Isn't that correct? Nobody could find you.
I don't remember any visitations being scheduled. Do you have?
You remember the visitations being canceled?
I remember them being canceled in the messages from my Facebook. I remember them being canceled by Jennifer.
You remember that your visitation was terminated by DFACS because you failed to appear at several visitations. Do you not recall that?
I mean, not offhand. I don't
So
recall.
you don't remember that visitation was canceled for you because you failed to show up several times. You don't remember that.
I think it was towards the end of my pregnancy, and I was kind of.
Is that a yes, then?
I still don't remember multiple visitations being canceled because of my negligence to show up, but
But it is true that your visitation was terminated by DFACS, wasn't it? Samantha Brown, the caseworker, terminated your visitation, correct?
I have phone calls with Samantha Brown where I'm asking her 4 visitations. I don't recall. I'm sorry. I just don't recall being terminated.
Okay, you were asking her for visitations because you weren't getting any, correct?
Correct.
Now, I want to ask you a number of questions with regards to Layla. When you had Layla, you reported that she gasps as if she cannot breathe, correct?
No, she had a poop noise, is what it was, and when she only did it when she went to the bathroom. So, but I mean, I guess you could explain it like that. I don't think I've ever explained it like that. I've always just called it her poop noise.
Okay. You didn't report to the doctor that she gasps as if she cannot breathe?
No.
Okay. Isn't it true that both your girls suffered from rashes? Isn't that correct? Both Millie and Layla suffered from rashes on their bottom.
Millie did have hand, foot, mouth. Yes.
And Layla suffered from rashes, isn't that correct?
I think Layla might have had hives or something, but it only lasted a day.
Let me show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 3 and ask you if you recognize that picture.
I do.
And what is it a picture of?
That is the day after her hives. That's when they were going away.
When is this picture taken?
That picture was taken sometime in July, I want to say, of 2014.
2014. I tender at this point, Your Honor, Defendant's Exhibit 3 into evidence.
Any objection? Admitted. D3.
Now published.
You may.
So this is the child that doesn't have rashes, correct?
No, I told you she had hives.
She has hives.
She had one time.
And this is a picture taken when you had custody of her, correct?
Correct.
And isn't it true that your third daughter also has rashes?
I really wouldn't know that.
You would know.
No.
And why is that?
Because my third daughter is being raised.
Relevance?
Your Honor, it's relevant. You're talking about what she knows. It's about the third daughter. There's nothing irrelevant about it.
Her third daughter is not a victim listed in the indictment in this case. It has nothing to do with the case at hand or the issue at hand.
Your Honor, it has to do with family lines and hereditary conditions.
Overruled.
So why is it you don't know whether your daughter?
Because her adoptive mother has had her since she was 11 days.
So you've had two daughters, and they both have had conditions, rash conditions, correct?
That's what you say?
Since the death of since Layla and Millie went in with the Rosenbaum, you've had two children, and they're both in adoptive care, correct?
Yeah, all three living
three.
children are in adoptive care.
So your rights were terminated.
They were.
Let me show you. Layla also got rashes when she drank orange juice or things with vitamin C in them. Isn't that correct?
Layla did get rashes on multiple occasions, like I said, and I didn't see a trigger, and I tried not to give her citrus anyways because she wasn't old enough for it.
But so you're telling us that she does not have an orange juice, a vitamin C rash. She does not get rashes when she drinks or eats vitamin C?
I'm pretty sure, I mean, I never related the two.
Okay.
She only had the rash, the hives, the one time.
Now, you have dealt with defects pretty much your entire life, isn't that correct?
Pretty much.
And it's fair to say that when you talk to defects, you don't always tell the truth, do you?
I'm a pretty honest person.
That's not what I'm asking you. When you
Yes,
talk to defects,
yes, I tell the truth. I mean, I was a child, I was a teenager, so maybe I lied every once in a while, but for the most part, I tell the truth.
do you recall in 2013 when defects came out and you told them neither you nor your mother had been involved in drugs? Do you remember that?
I really don't remember 2013 too well.
Do you recall telling LaToya Summers that you and your mother did not use drugs?
No.
The truth of the matter is you've been doing meth since age 13, correct?
I mean, that was the first time I experienced it. I haven't been just on it constantly since then.
Now, you gave a statement to Officer Witt at the time that he came out to talk to you about the death of Layla. And he said, asked you why your children were in defects custody, correct?
Correct.
And what did you say?
Because I failed a drug screen.
Isn't it true what you said is that you lost your daughters because you would do anything to get meth?
No, absolutely not. Who would say something like that?
So you didn't tell DJ Witt on November 19th, 2015, that you would do anything to get meth?
No.
Now, isn't it true that you told Detective Witt that Layla looked like she had never been fed?
When did Layla look like that?
When you talked to Detective Witt on November 19th, 2015, did you tell him
It did. She looked underfed and unhealthy to me in the photos that Jennifer sent me.
And
The
so-
actual updated photos.
So what letter did you write to DFACS complaining about Jennifer?
I actually had a court date the day of her death. I had a court date scheduled for Karma Lee.
Who's Carla Lee?
Karma Lee is my third child. And she had been taken from me, and we were going for a venue change from Clayton to Henry.
And what about that hearing?
I talked to Samantha White, and I showed her the pictures that Jennifer had sent me the night before, and I told her that that Layla looked unhealthy, and that's not my baby. That's not what she looks like. That she's sick or something, and I wish that she would go check on her.
And this was November what?
This was November 17th.
November 17th?
I mean,
the
15th.
date- November 15th,
17th, sorry,
17th.
2015.
Layla was already dead at this point.
It might have been the 14th
So you're not sure when you had
or
that
the
hearing?
15th.
either. You're not sure when you had that hearing?
It was on the 15th.
14th or 15th?
The 15th. It was
15th.
early in the morning.
Okay. So now you told Samantha White that you were complaining about Jennifer's care of the girls.
That's when I became worried. The photos that she sent me, Layla looked unhealthy. Her hair had fallen out, and she had bruises and cuts on her face. Yes, I was worried, and that was the first opportunity I had gotten to talk to anybody about it.
Where are the pictures where her hair is falling out and she has cuts on her face?
I have pictures. I mean, I wasn't allowed to bring my own pictures. I have them, though. I
You
mean,
have them.
I'm sure that.
Well, can you produce them at this point? We'd like to see them.
Do I need to bring my phone out?
I would just ask you, Honor, if we could maybe take a break and we'll print the pictures up.
Because I have actually 2 different ones of the same sad angle.
Okay.
Didn't Miss
I sent them.
Young, didn't you send them to Miss Young?
I just sent them, yeah.
Okay. You sent them in when?
I sent them yesterday
Okay.
because I figured that would be important. And if I hadn't sent them before, I wanted to make sure they got in there.
Are you asking that the court do something?
Yes, I'm asking that we take a break so that we can get the photographs and print them up.
Okay. If the jury will please step into the jury holding room and come back in a few minutes. All right, let me know when it's been done. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
This is your Facebook picture?
Continue.
Ms. Daniel, these pictures that you gave us were taken on November 16th, 2015, correct?
That's when I received them.
That's when you received them, and that is the day you received them, and isn't it true that it is the same night you were on the phone with them?
Yes, it's actually, I want to say right after the phone calls,
Okay,
even
so
though
it's
they were
right-
supposed to be done with their food by then, but yeah.
Let me show you what's been marked as defendant's exhibit. Let's start with defendant's exhibit 8. Is that one of the pictures you brought us today?
Yes.
Okay. Is this a picture of Layla?
They're both Layla,
They're
yeah.
both Layla. Okay, one's in July and one's in November. And you remember when you talked to her, you asked her to blow you a kiss, didn't you?
Right,
You
but
said, blow mommy a kiss, didn't you?
I don't think that was said in the phone call.
Okay,
Blow
you don't
mommy a
think it was
kiss.
said. Okay.
But because we listened to that phone call.
I'd like to tender defendant's exhibit 8.
I think I was just told that's what she was doing. But I have previous pictures of her blowing kisses when the Browns sent me pictures while she lived there, and that's not how she does it. So
So she did it a different way at the Browns than she does it at the...
she did it a different way all the time up until that picture. But I'm not saying she didn't start blowing kisses a different way. I'm just saying that's also sign language that she was taught at the Browns too, for hungry.
Okay. Let me show you what's been marked as defendant's exhibit 9.
Did you tender 8?
Yes, I tendered 8, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted.
Let me show you what's been marked as defendant's exhibit 9 and see if you can identify that.
I can identify that.
What is it?
That's Layla.
And when is that picture taken?
Well, I know it was sent to me after the phone call.
Okay, so that was November 16th,
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if I may, Your Honor, I would tender defendant's exhibit 9 into the record and ask that it be published.
No objection.
It's admitted you may publish 8 or 9 or both.
This is November 2015. Where are the cuts and bruises on her face?
Well, I mean, is there a zoom thing on there? You can see it on her forehead clear as day. Maybe it's... I mean, I see a actual lump on her forehead right there. You don't see that
On your forehead,
with the cut in it.
with a cut in it.
Right.
Okay? Let me show you what's been marked as defendant's exhibit 9 and tell me what that picture represents.
Am I telling you what that represents?
Yes.
It looks like a torn up baby to me.
Okay, it looks like a torn up baby to you. Do you see any bruises or cuts on her face?
I see the same bruise and lump on her forehead.
Okay. You see the food sitting beside her?
I do, out of reach, yeah, I see that.
Of course, she was being fed, wasn't she?
But she was supposed to already be done,
But she wasn't
according to the
done,
phone
was
call.
She was done with the food. But
I
that
don't know
picture
what
taken
was
before
what.
the food was- I withdraw the question.
Thank you.
These are the pictures that you gave us indicating cuts and bruises on her face and loss of hair, correct?
Yes, and is her hair not thinner in the second picture than it was when she...
I'm asking the question.
Okay, well, yes, I feel that way.
Now, isn't it true, Miss Clendenning, I'm sorry, Miss Daniel, that you maintained Facebook friendship with Jennifer before and during the fostering of the children? You were her Facebook friend.
I don't think we were friends.
You don't think so? You don't know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we added each other as actual friends after the fact of me hearing about her through Miss White.
Okay. Now, on October 16th, 2015, do you remember that date?
October 16th.
You remember telling Jennifer on that date in Facebook that you weren't pregnant anymore, so no excuses about not to work and not to do what I'm supposed to do? Do you remember saying that?
I mean,
That was true, wasn't it?
yeah,
Is that a yes?
it is true, yeah.
Okay. And Jennifer responded to you that she would definitely be praying for you and she was glad you got somewhere safe to stay, correct?
Sounds like it'd be about right.
Okay. And that was in October when you went missing, isn't that correct? You finally found a place to stay, and Jennifer said to you she was glad that you found a place to stay, isn't that correct?
I went missing.
Well, you weren't showing up to visitation in October.
Well, I was having, I think, a scheduled visitation with Karma, and I was trying to get, wait, this is October, so, I'm sorry, I was ahead of time. That may have happened.
Okay. And that was, we're talking about the October visit. Then in August, you previously testified that in August you also were sick and missed visitation, correct?
That's what we already talked about.
We already talked about
Okay.
that. And in August, you told Jennifer, after the baby comes, things will be easier, correct?
Yeah, I was probably, like, meaning I wouldn't be sick, and
And so you said, it seems like I'm avoiding my current situation, but really I'm getting some stuff situated while the girls are in good hands, correct?
yeah, I probably
Okay.
said that.
Now, August 3rd of 2015, you told Jennifer you loved the birthday party she gave Layla, and you said that seeing the girls truly happy and smiling makes my heart happy, correct?
Yeah, but we're skipping back and forth right here. I mean, those pictures that she sent, I was happy about, and then come to find out that was before she even lived there, that they threw her this birthday party. So, but I didn't get them until after she lived with them, the pictures.
This is August of 2015. She went to the Rosenbaums in July 24th,
Okay.
2015.
When did she send me the pictures? Because it was well after her
I'm not talking
birthday.
about pictures now. We're not talking about pictures. We're talking about Facebook messages.
That's the only way I would have known that I loved her birthday party, is what I'm meaning by that.
Okay. Regardless of that, did you say, seeing the girls truly happy and smiling makes my heart happy? Did you say that?
I mean, of course.
Okay. Now, you also took the pictures she sent you, and the videos she sent you, correct? And you posted them on Facebook, didn't you?
I asked her if I could.
But you did post them,
I
didn't
did.
you? And on November 15th, she sent you a picture of Layla just before she went to bed. That was November 15th, correct?
That was the 14th, I think. Was it the 15th?
Let me see if I can find that picture first.
The big T-shirt picture is the one you're referring to.
What you call a big T-shirt picture. States Exhibit 94. That was November 14th, you say, is when you got it. And she died November 17th, correct?
Correct.
to zoom it back out again. Now, she encouraged you on Facebook, didn't she?
Of course.
She was nice to you on Facebook?
Yes.
Now, she told you the activities the girls were doing, correct?
She told me what she said they were doing.
Okay. She told you about the face painting, didn't she?
The face painting, yes.
She told you about the fall festival, didn't she?
Yes, she sent me pictures of the fall festival.
She told you about the birthdays that she gave Layla and Millie, correct?
Yeah, well, Layla.
Okay, Layla. She showed you the pictures at Noah's Ark where they celebrated Millie's birthday, didn't she?
Where she was going down the slide in the
I'm not saying
Chick-fil-A.
slide,
I mean, I relate because every conversation I've had with her that the ones you're referring to all came with pictures.
She tell you about Noah's Ark? Yes or no?
If that's where the big slide was, and they had face painting and Chick-fil-A.
Did she tell you that she went to the Southern Belle Farm with the children?
Yes, I saw the Southern Belle Farm pictures.
And you complained to Jennifer that you felt a failure, and she told you that you made human beings, you made 3 human beings, and that was a divine purpose. Isn't that correct?
I'm sorry,
Isn't it true you complained to Jennifer in one of your Facebook posts that you felt like a failure, and she told you not to feel like a failure because you made 3 beautiful human beings and that was a divine purpose?
I mean, she said a lot of nice things.
Did she say that, though, is my question.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you said to her earlier on in July, you said that you would sleep better knowing the girls will be placed with Jennifer and Joseph, correct?
Yes, because of what I saw, not because of what I knew. Not because I knew her and knew they would be safe, but I based it off of what I saw.
And Tessa, Miss Daniel, you have, since the child's death, you have had custody for a period of time of Millie, didn't you?
Since
the death of Layla, you have had custody for a period of time of Millie.
No.
Millie never lived with you?
No.
Millie never came to the funeral with you?
She did, but she didn't live with me, and I had no custody. I had a visit at the funeral.
You had visits with her, though?
The visit that was supposed to take place before Layla died.
But you had a visit?
Yeah, that took place at the funeral home.
And you had visits with her after that? You had telephone calls with her, didn't you?
Supervised.
Supervised, but you had them?
I had them.
And you, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 4 and ask you if you can identify that picture.
I can.
What is it?
That is a sign that we made for her sister, and all the children were doing it for her.
Okay. And when was this done?
That was a supervised visit at Defects.
And when was that done?
January 22nd.
2016, is that correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, at this time I will tender Defendant's Exhibit 4 into the record.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admit before.
Is that the picture that we're talking about?
Yes.
And isn't it true that DFACS told you that you were having inappropriate conversations with Millie?
Objection on hearsay.
I'm asking her if she was told that. No.
That's statements that were made, I'm suggesting for the truth of the matter, certainly.
No.
And it's not statements made by her, she's asking about statements made by defects workers.
They're made to her, and she can be asked if she recalls any statements. I'll go ahead and overrule the objection.
I don't recall them saying that to me.
You don't. Now, isn't it true that at one visit in July that you missed, you wrote to Jennifer and said, "I wish I could be there. Did Miss White say anything about me and setting up a visit soon now that I took the drug screen?" Do you remember saying that?
We're in July.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry. This is Miss White me asking if Miss White had said something to her about. I'm sorry.
Telling Jennifer that because they had a visitation without you, because you didn't show up. Do you recall saying?
Object, Your Honor. I think she may need to orient the witness. She's talking about various different dates and asking her, did she say something without even giving her a point of reference?
I gave her the
It's
date.
difficult for the witness to answer accurately.
Two things. First is let her finish her answers. And second, she might need a little orientation right now. Statements.
Do you recall July 25th of 2015?
This was.
If you don't recall it, it's okay to say you don't recall.
Well, I try to search my memory to see if I can help you out with your question, and I base it off of things like she wasn't living with them yet. She was doing the home visits with them.
Do you recall on July 25th, 2015?
I can't just recall. I'm sorry.
Okay, you don't recall that. See if this refreshes your recollection.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Do you recall talking Facebooking with Jennifer? Do you recall that?
I do.
Do you recall saying, "I wish I could be there"? Did Miss White say anything about me and setting up a visit soon now that I took the drug screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Miss White was setting up the visits, correct?
Miss White was overseeing setting them up, and then she handed all that responsibility off to Jennifer.
Okay.
Whenever Jennifer, the time that Miss White set up wasn't it wasn't good for her, so Miss White just decided, well, hey, how about you pick the time? That's basically how that went.
And isn't it true that you missed visitations?
Objection, asked and answered several times, Your Honor.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Redirect.
Tessa, were you struggling back in 2015 with your addiction?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there times when you didn't see your girls when you wanted to?
Yes, ma'am.
I think, were you grateful that Ms. Rosenbaum and Mr. Rosenbaum were willing to take over the care of your kids?
I was.
Go ahead.
I just was going to say that at one point, I felt like maybe that they would be better for them, but this wasn't through me witnessing it in person. This was just through pictures that they sent me of stuff that they could get them that I couldn't get them, and I just felt like maybe they could have like a family, like a mommy daddy stable thing with them, but this was all through pictures and what she was telling me. So at one point I did feel like maybe if I just backed out that they would be better off.
want to, and when you thanked Jennifer, was it based on the photographs that you were receiving of the girls and photographs you had seen previously on Facebook of the Rosenbaums and what their life appeared to look like?
Yeah. Yes,
During
ma'am.
that time when you were seeing those thank yous, did you have any concerns about the girls' safety or the care of them when they were with the Rosenbaums?
No, not at first. I didn't have.
And during your conversation, I think in State's Exhibit number 98, do you recall the conversation you and Jennifer had about the girls' weight?
In the phone call.
In the phone call we listened to right before lunch?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were y'all talking about the girls losing and gaining weight?
Yeah, how their eating habits had changed.
And what did Jennifer tell you about their eating habits?
That Millie wasn't picky anymore, which was odd because she was really picky when she was living with me. But that Layla now was an undereater, and when I had Layla, she had like Michelin Man arms. Like she wasn't an undereater at all.
And I'm going to show you, and I misspoke, it was State's Exhibit 93. Let me show you State's Exhibit 95. Is that the same photograph? I believe that is State Defense Exhibit number 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the same photograph you just looked at with Ms. Maul?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd ask that State's Exhibit 95 be admitted into evidence.
No, I have no objections, just put it in.
Over.
So when you look at this picture, in July of 2015, tell me how Layla's cheeks look to you.
She looks like a chipmunk.
And then in November of 2015, the picture that's right next to it, what do her cheeks look like?
She looks sick.
Are her cheeks still that chunky look as they were in July 2015?
No, and I feel like her hair is like thin, or she's just stressed or something. I don't know.
Did she look like the same baby in that photograph from July 2015?
No.
And I want to ask you, I'm going to show you what's been marked already, the same picture, I believe it was defense 9 as State's number, oops, sorry, 96. Is that the same photograph depicted in defense number 9?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd ask that State's Exhibit 96 be tendered into evidence.
Any objections to 696? Admitted.
Ms. Mull asked you about that plate of food. Does it appear that anything has been eaten off of that plate of food?
It looks to me like it's been pushed around. I mean, it's just my opinion.
But is there still food on that plate?
There's a lot of food on the plate.
And then Layla.
She doesn't look like a baby that just ate a nice meal.
And you talked about seeing a bump on her forehead. Is that on the right side of her forehead that we're talking about? Or the left side? I apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that up here in this area where you
Your
believe?
Honor, I object to meeting the witness.
Sustained.
I'll ask, I don't know what we do.
I mean, it wasn't obvious. Well,
If you could just step down and point out where you're talking about, where you see what you believe to be a bump or a bruise on her forehead. Oh, be careful.
just right here, and then the cut is like right here.
Okay, thank you. And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 94, and this is from November the 14th.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you see that same?
Again, I object to leaving the witness by holding her directly to a person based on the picture. And this Young believes is the location of an alleged injury.
Sustaining objection.
If you could step down with the pointer again and tell me, did you see any injuries or what you believe to be injuries in that photograph, which is State's Exhibit 94?
In this photograph, you know how she has filters, Jennifer. So, but I feel like I might see a bruise
You
or
don't have to
something.
object to what her feeling like. She can say what she's observed, but that's it.
I
Do you
observed that when
observe?
she sent me 2 pictures and hated the filter on the first one. That's where I got that.
On that
It's-
photograph.
First of all, it's not responsive, but let's stick to the question.
I see the,
Do you see anything on that photograph that I guess maybe caused you concern?
yeah.
And if you could point to it.
There's, of course, the welt on her forehead and on her cheek. And the bruise.
So the first bruise that you're pointing to is on the right side of her forehead? And the second one, what side of her head is that?
This one on the left side.
And you said that there was a bruise on her cheek. Which cheek is that, the right or the left?
The glare, is that glare? Sorry. Really, I just see her forehead really and on her chin and her cheek right there.
And which cheek is that? Thank you.
If at any time you'd like to have this set of lights turned off too, just let us know and we'll send somebody over there to do.
Thank you, George. Now, in that conversation that we listened to, and I can't remember if I asked you this question, did Jennifer express any concern about Layla's weight?
She said that she was wondering if they were doing something wrong because she lost all her baby fat. And she said, but the doctor said that she wasn't in the normal, I guess, what she was supposed to be for her age. She was just maybe like, I don't remember. She said she was a teeny bit under. I can't exactly remember, so I'm not gonna. But I do remember that she said that she was worried because she had lost a lot of weight since she moved in with her.
And Ms. Moe asked you about being friends with the defendant, Ms. Jennifer Rosenbaum. And when did that friendship or that connection occur? Before your kids were in her custody or after?
With my grand.
That y'all became friends on Facebook?
Oh, see, I want to say that it was after. Like, if we were friends before that, it couldn't have been for too long before. But I want to say that it was after.
Did you continue to be friends with her after November the 17th of 2015?
No, ma'am.
And so this photograph, which is defense number 4, is that from your Facebook page?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's the date of that?
That's January 22nd, 2016.
Is that a post that you sent to the defendant at all?
No.
Are you public or private?
I was public at that time.
So is someone gone on the Facebook where they have access to what you were posting in 2016?
Yeah, the little square right there with the people in it. I'm pretty sure that meant public or maybe friends could see it.
And at that time, you were no longer friends with Ms. Rosenbaum on Facebook?
Not that I am aware of.
Did you do anything to unfriend her at all?
No, I'm pretty sure that she may have blocked me. She's the one who severed the Facebook friendship.
Is there any reason why you didn't sever?
I didn't have time.
And Ms. Moe asked you about a visitation, I'm gonna go back, in August of 2015, when you said you were sick. What was going on with you?
I was really tired. The baby, like, she was almost 10 pounds when I had her in September, at the beginning of September. So towards the end of August, I was just like, I basically never wanted to really move out of the bed, and my feet were always hurting, and I started getting, my stomach would get really like tight if I tried to do too much. So I kind of just, the doctor never said I had to be on bed rest or anything, but I just felt better laying down.
And so when you're talking about being sick, it was due to a pregnancy?
Right. And the previous visitation I had had with the girls in July, I was also pregnant, and it was like, I felt like I couldn't do as much with them. I felt like, I still loved seeing them, and I did not want to see them. In August, I just figured that the baby would be there pretty soon, and that then, because at this point I didn't have any, in my head I never could have imagined what was really going on.
Did you think your girls were okay?
Yes.
Did you think your girls were safe?
Yes.
And did you think you not being there was causing any harm?
No. But I still hadn't seen them either in person. Just saying.
In that last visit that you had with them, you said it was in July what?
31st, I want to say. Because I remember bringing Layla her birthday presents that I had gotten her. Because it was the first time I'd seen her since her birthday. And her favorite toy was kitchen. So I brought her a whole bunch of like kitchen stuff. And I don't think I brought the actual kitchen that I had for her, because I was leaving that in the room that I was setting up for them to come home.
And that was on July 31st?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think Ms. Mill also asked you about visitations with Millie after Layla's death. And you said they were supervised?
Yeah.
How does that work, supervised visitation?
Well, I think there was, since it was at Layla's funeral, I think that maybe, they were there in the funeral home with us. Like, nobody ever left the funeral home, but they weren't, like, right up on us. You know what I mean? Like, they gave Millie time to be with their family. And, it was supervised from a distance, but in the same building, in the same room.
Was there ever a time after November the 17th of 2015 that you had unsupervised visits with Millie?
No.
And Ms. Moore asked you about your parental rights being terminated. When were your parental rights terminated?
They were terminated, I'm sorry, I just gotten out of, I was in rehab at Right Side Up, and I want to say it was in, there was multiple termination hearings scheduled, and then I fired my counsel on the first one, so they had to reschedule, and the first one was in March.
Of what year?
Of 2017.
So was this after Layla's death in 2015?
It was March 2018.
So March 2018 is when your parental rights were terminated?
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's when they started to do it, and then it got continued until I could find counsel, and then they found counsel for me before I could find my own, because I was incarcerated. And then when I got out, they rescheduled it again before I really got a chance to know my new representation. So it was somewhere in May, maybe April, end of April, beginning of May.
So in 2015, did you still have your parental rights?
And yes,
And do you know what a case plan is?
I do.
And what's a case plan?
A case plan is something that it's basically a guideline of things that you have to accomplish so that you can work towards getting your children back.
And were you still working your case plan in 2015?
In 2015, I was.
And you talked about Samantha White. Who is that?
She was my caseworker.
And tell me about your communication with Ms. White.
Well, I also couldn't exactly remember things that we were talking about in phone calls, so I started recording phone calls with her so I could go back and make sure that I wasn't not communicating things the way I meant them. But I basically started calling her too much, is what she was saying. Like I needed to, she saw that I'd called and she would call me back, but she has other people that she's dealing with, and she's gonna get to my visitation. She just has to get with Jennifer. I'm pretty sure that's verbatim one of the conversations.
And is that some of the concerns why you started to record your conversations with Ms. White?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she always accessible to you in order to schedule visitations with the girls during the time that they were with the Rosenbaums?
No, she was awful at answering the phone. Like, I had to call so many times to where I guess I got on her nerves about, well, did you talk to Jennifer yet? Have you figured out this visitation thing? Have y'all agreed on something? Because at first it was them having to agree on it, but, I mean, Jennifer got to make the shot. She was the shot caller and everything, but Miss White, of course, had to agree.
And you were trying to make that happen by communicating with Ms. White?
Right. I just wanted it to get on a roll. Like, I wanted to see him. It'd been a long time.
And Ms. Moe asked you earlier on about a statement to Detective Witt. Do you recall ever telling Detective Witt that you lost custody of your girls because I would do anything to get high?
I honestly don't think I would ever say that. I can't see myself saying that. I mean, I don't recall saying that.
And would you, in regards to Ms. White, would you talk to the defendant, Jennifer Rosenbaum, about your frustrations about not being able to reach Ms. White?
I think I mentioned, I don't, I can't remember a specific conversation where I might have said that I couldn't get in touch with her, maybe, or that I voiced that to Jennifer. I may have.
Let me ask you, in State's Exhibit 93, the conversation that was taped, and you're talking to Jennifer, did y'all discuss defects?
Yes.
What was her statements to you about defects?
That they never checked on the girls anyways, except for the day before court. And
What
then,
else did she say?
keep going with,
Yeah, during that conversation.
she said that they never checked on the girls anyways, except for the day before court. And then they're all like, oh, how are the girls doing? And then she kind of like just has to throw in her statement, oh, well, good thing I haven't killed them yet because you wouldn't know.
Nothing further.
Isn't it true, Miss Daniel, that conversation you had with Jennifer was about the guardian ad litem, not about the defects workers? Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it was about.
Now, these conversations with Samantha White, where you're trying to reach her, what month was that in?
I've tried to reach her a couple times. You're talking about the ones where I recorded the phone calls?
No, I'm talking about the months you tried to reach her.
It was around, it was after I had the baby.
So when would that be?
It was in September.
September. Do you
End of
recall
August.
in September telling Jennifer, or rather Jennifer telling you that Miss White wanted you to call? Do you recall that?
Do you have the paper or their
I'm
message?
asking you the question first. Do you recall that?
I'm sure she might have said that
Okay.
to me.
Do you recall saying that you were glad she doesn't know where I am right now? I'll be in court on the 21st. You remember saying that?
I don't remember it.
Okay. See if this refreshes your recollection.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does it refresh your recollection?
It does.
So you were AWOL. They didn't know where you were, correct?
Well, it was because I still had my daughter, and I didn't want them to take her because of my previous defects case.
So you were AWOL.
My-
You were not in a place where she could find you, were you?
No.
Okay. And she, in fact, was going to call your grandmother to find out where you were, correct?
That's what it said.
And your response to Jennifer was, I'm glad she doesn't know where I am right now. I'll be in court on the 21st. And that was, you said that on September 16th, 2018. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about November 14th. That's the date, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you had that conversation with her, right? Conversation with Jennifer and with Millie and Layla.
No, yes.
Okay. And she sent you pictures on that date,
Right.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as defendants 5, 6, and 7. And see if you can identify those for me. Can you identify them for me?
I can. You want me to?
Yes, what are they?
These are the updated pictures that I asked for of Layla and Millie from November, no, not, November 12th?
Isn't it true those pictures were taken on November 14th?
November 14th, okay.
Isn't that true? And so those pictures were sent to you, and they are pictures of Millie and Layla.
That's,
At this time, I would tender defendants exhibit 5, 6, and 7 into the record.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admit the 5, 6, and 7. Admit both.
can I say something?
In response to questions. In response to questions.
Okay, I don't know.
Excuse me.
Oh,
When she asks you a question, you can respond.
okay.
Is that a picture of Millie on November 14th?
That's the day I received the picture.
But that's also the date of the picture, isn't it?
That's
November 14th.
what day it was printed on.
Yes.
Okay.
That's been stipulated to by the DA's office.
I mean, that was the day that I received the the picture.
But it was also the date the picture was taken, wasn't it?
I don't know about that.
I'm going to show you, that's a picture of Millie. And that's a picture of Millie up close.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a picture of Layla. Correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to enter, we have drawn up a stipulation that the pictures are dated, both sides agree the date on the pictures are the dates that the pictures were taken based on our service of electronic file to the state, and they were able to check into the dates that they were taken, and we both stipulate that the dates as set out on the pictures are in fact the correct dates.
Okay, and those dates are,
November 14th, 2015.
okay, and that's the stipulation.
In regards to the first set, we had 2 electronic check drives. Those photographs are on the first check drive, so those dates are stipulated too.
5 through 7.
Yes.
Stipulations accepted by the court.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 10. I believe that's been... Your Honor, I'm sorry. Ms. Daniel, showing you Defendant's Exhibit 10 and asking you, what is that picture?
That's Layla getting her face painted.
And is that a picture you received on November 14th?
I received that picture with the others.
And was that on November 14th?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, I would tender Defendant's Exhibit 10 into the record.
Any objections? Admitted?
Your Honor, may I publish?
You may.
If I may just have a moment, Your Honor. Isn't it true, Miss Daniel, that in that phone call you had with Miss Jennifer Rosenbaum, that she said on the phone that Layla, when Layla stopped talking, that Layla probably wanted to get to her dinner? Didn't she say that? You don't know?
I don't remember what she said exactly.
That's fine. We're not asking you just what you remember. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You can step in. Is this witness one that should be retained, or are you asking that she be
I'm asking
excused?
that she be retained, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, you're excused from court for now. You may be recalled.
Thank you, Judge.
The state will call us next witness.
State calls Michelle Chapman.
Michelle Chapman. Right up here, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you could please state your name for the record.
Michelle Chapman.
And Ms. Chapman, how do you know Millie Place?
On September the 14th, I was introduced to her and asked if I could keep her for a while her mom had to do
Everybody
some
hear
jail
her?
time.
No, pull the microphone closer,
Sure.
please.
September the 14th, I was introduced to her, and her mom had to do some jail time for violation, and that's how I met her.
You said you met her on September 14th. Of what year was that?
2014.
2014?
Stay in front of the microphone, please.
Okay.
Was September 14 of 2014 the same date that you met Layla?
Yes.
And where did you meet Millie and Layla?
At Cindy Tate's house.
Excuse me,
Cynthia Tate's
And who
house.
is Cynthia Tate?
That is my husband's ex-wife.
And why were you at Cynthia Tate's house?
I was visiting our daughter, Tiffany Chapman, and our grandson at the time.
So you were there with your husband. What's your husband's name?
Anthony Chapman Scott. He goes by Scott.
Scott. So you were there with Scott visiting, you were at Cynthia Tate's house visiting Tiffany
Yes.
and your grandson?
Lucas, yes.
At the time you met Millie, how old was she?
She was 3.
The time you met Layla, how old was she?
She was 2.
How old was Lucas at that time?
2. They're just a few days apart.
When you say they, who are you speaking of?
Lucas and Layla.
Now, how soon after meeting Millie on September 14 of 2014 did Millie come to live with you
She came to live with me that day.
that day? And was this at the request of her mother,
Yes.
Tessa? On that same day, did Layla come as well?
No, not that day.
Where was Layla staying?
She was staying at Cindy's and Tiffany's house.
How long did Millie live with you?
From September the 14th to November, it was either the 3rd or the 4th. I want to say it was absolutely the 3rd.
The 3rd of November?
Mhm.
And that is of 2014?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you agree to allow Millie to stay with you despite the fact that you only knew her for 30 minutes or so?
A lot of people ask me that. The only thing I can say is because I have a heart.
And who was living at your home at the time that Millie was there?
Just me and my husband.
What kind of child was Billy when she stayed with you?
She was wonderful. She was a 3-year-old, but she was a wonderful little girl.
During the time period that Millie was staying with you, would you visit Tiffany and Layla and Lucas?
Yes, ma'am.
And when Millie first came to live with you, was she in good health?
Yeah, she was fine. She had a little problem where she had burnt herself, or she said Tessa's boyfriend Michael had burnt her. I don't know if it was accident. We didn't go into it. It was just like poof and gone. But other than that, she was fine.
When you say poof and gone, what do you mean by that?
She just said, "Oh, Michael did it," because I asked her what happened. It was a little scab on her thumb, and it was almost healed scab. I asked her what had happened. She said, "Michael burnt me," and Michael was Tessa's boyfriend at the time.
And other than that burn that Millie was able to tell you how that burn occurred, did she have any other injuries?
No, ma'am.
And did Millie have any other bruises?
No, ma'am.
To your knowledge, did Millie have any broken bones?
No, ma'am.
Well, Millie was living with you. Who was her primary caretaker?
I was.
And what kind of things did you do to help Millie at the age of 3?
Really, she was very smart. She would bathe her own self. I would stand there and help if she needed it, but other than that, she did everything on her own. She was very independent.
Tell me, or tell the jury about how Millie ended up leaving your home.
It was November. I really want to say it was the 3rd. It may have been the 4th, but her grandmother had called me and asked if she could come by and see Millie. She was going up to Blue Ridge, and I lived in Murrayville at the time. I didn't think nothing about it. Miss Peggy was trying to attempt to get her down there every other weekend or whatnot to see her grandmother. I didn't think nothing about it. She pulled up in the yard. Peggy, Jacob, which is Millie's biological father. And I believe it was his girlfriend at the time, got out of the car, got in the car, and I immediately called 911.
How come you immediately called 911?
That's what I was told to do by DeMarcus Blunt before anybody took her. I was to call the police.
And who is DeMarcus Blunt?
He was DFACS in Henry County that I finally got in touch with. He was supposed to come out October the 31st at 7 o'clock to do the placement and do drug tests on us and check the house. And Millie was going to be placed with us. And the night that we had talked to him, which was a couple of days prior to the 31st, he told us before anybody gets her, we have her until he says otherwise. So I didn't know what else to do besides call the police. I mean,
Do you ever personally meet DeMarcus Blunt?
no, I've never seen him.
And prior to Millie living with you, had you ever met her grandmother, Peggy Banks?
No,
Was there ever a time that Millie and Layla lived with you and Anthony at the same time?
no.
When Millie left your care, was she in good health?
Yes,
And when was the last time that you saw Millie?
November the 3rd.
Now, was there a time that Layla lived with you?
No, she stayed with us for a few weeks, her and Lucas together. It was through a holiday vacation. They were both at home, and we just went and got them and kept them for a couple weeks. And I believe it was right before Christmas.
During that time period, was she primarily staying with Tiffany and Cynthia?
That's when she was staying with them, yes, ma'am.
And at the time that Layla came to stay with you for those 2 weeks, did she appear to be in good health?
She was fine.
Did she have any broken bones?
No, ma'am.
Did she have any unexplained bruises?
No, ma'am.
Any unexplained injuries?
No, ma'am.
What kind of 2-year-old was Layla? Or 1 year?
She was happy.
She was happy. When was the last time you saw Layla?
It was right before, I don't remember the date. It was right before she went in to, I want to say, the Browns.
The
Right
Browns?
before she went in the first foster home.
And the last time you saw Layla, was she in good health?
She was fine.
When Layla was staying with you for those 2 weeks, did you change her diaper?
Yeah.
Did you dress her?
Yes.
Okay, and did you feed her?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Ms. Chapman, I'm going to show you 3 photographs that I've previously identified as State's Exhibits 97, 98, 99.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
let me know if you recognize the photographs.
Yes, ma'am. They were all taken at my house.
And what are they photographs of?
This is,
Tell me in general what the 3
where
are.
Lucas and Layla laid in the bed. They had a pack and play, and that's what they slept in, right in the edge of the foot of our bed.
And what exhibit number is that?
99.
99. And is that how Layla appeared when she stayed with you?
Yes. This is at our kitchen table. They're eating supper with my husband, Anthony.
And is that State's Exhibit?
This is 97.
And is that how Layla appeared at that time?
She
And no,
she
hold
left.
on, go back to this one, 97. Ms. Chen, is that how she appeared?
Yes.
Okay. And now you can tell me about State's 98.
This is her just having fun with Papa's shoes. That's what she would call us, is Papa and Mama. She'd put on his boots and walk around. This is 98.
And in these 3 exhibits is how Layla appeared during the time that she stayed with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, I tender states exhibits 97, 98, and 99 into evidence and ask permission to publish.
Permitted, and you may publish.
Put on the overhead, Ms. Chapman, states exhibit 97. If you can identify the individuals in the photograph, and you can use this pointer if you need. There is a step, so just be careful.
That's Scott, my husband. That's our grandson Lucas, and that's Layla.
Thank you. And I'm going to have you just stay right there.
Okay.
I'm going to show you now States Exhibit 99. Your Honor, may I request that the lights be dimmed?
Both sides?
Thank you.
That's Layla and Lucas laying in the crib together, or they're pack and play at the end of the bed.
And the child with their stomach exposed, who is that?
That's Layla.
And did she have any markings on her stomach during the time period that she lived with
She
you?
had no markings on her whatsoever.
Thank you. And the last one is States Exhibit 98. And is that a picture of Layla at your home?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. And when Millie first met you, what did she call you from the first moment she met you?
I was Mama Shell, and Scott was immediately Daddy.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Cross.
Picture is that of Layla and Lucas.
Yes, ma'am.
Layla on the right.
Correct. Lucas with his thumb in his mouth.
Does she have anything on her head there?
No, that's her hair.
That's her hair. In fact, there's a shadow that
I
her
believe,
hair,
yes, it was.
her hair creates a shadow.
If you're talking about that white line right in here, that's a
Yes.
curl.
That's a curl.
Mm-hmm.
But with regards to over here, that's her hair that's there.
Yes.
Okay. I just have a moment. Isn't it true, Ms. Chapman, that you had asked Katie Banks to babysit Millie, and she wouldn't?
No,
You never
that's not
asked-
true. No,
You didn't ask her that?
no, I did not.
Okay, so you didn't tell that to her at UFAX or
No, I did not.
Thank you, that's all.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor. May the witness be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Statement calls next witness.
State calls Tammy Newman.
Tammy Newman. Right up here, please.
Ms. Newman, can I have you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
If you could please state your name and then spell your name for the record.
Tammy Newman, TammyNewman.
Ms. Newman, how are you currently employed?
I'm a school counselor and a high school teacher.
And how long have you been a school counselor and high school teacher?
Well, this is my 5th year as a school counselor, my 4th year doing both jobs.
Was there a time that you worked for Pathways Transitions?
Yes.
And what is that, Pathways?
It is an agency that delivers mental health services.
And what did you do while you worked at Pathways?
I was a therapist.
And how long were you at Pathways?
2 years.
You indicated you were a therapist. Were you a therapist of, what kind of therapist were you?
I did therapy for adults and children, families.
Would you go to their homes or would they come to you?
Most of the time I would go to their homes. There were a few cases where clients would come to my office, but 99% of the time I would see them in the community, at home, in group homes, at school, daycare.
And how did you receive patients at Pathways?
Sometimes I would get patients by parents calling their Medicare provider, and then they would get a referral that way or through school counselors or DFACs.
Approximately what percentage of your clients came through DFACs?
Probably at least 50%.
And why is that?
Because Pathways had a contract with the state of Georgia. They were what is known in the industry as a core provider for services for those types of places, like DFACs, the juvenile court system.
And when you say services, what kind of services are you talking about?
Therapy, assessments, family therapy.
So it would be fair to say mental health type services?
Yes.
Now, were you working at Pathways on June 29 of 2015?
Yes.
And at that time, did you receive a call, or some sort of communication from an individual named Samantha White?
I would have probably received that prior to that date, but yes.
And who is Samantha White?
At that time, she was a caseworker for Henry County DFACs.
And during the time period you worked at Pathways, would clients be referred to you through DFACs in Henry County?
Yes.
And would that happen through the caseworkers?
Yes.
And why did Ms. White contact you?
Specifically for this case, she wanted me to go out and meet with a foster parent who had some children in her care, and to see if the girls needed therapy. And so at that time, she just sent the Shines referral, which was the referral for the services, to our main office, and then it was sent to me.
And on June 29 of 2015, did you go to the home of a Mrs. Lambert?
Yes.
And at that time, did you meet an individual named Millie Place?
Yes.
How old was Millie when you went to the home?
She must have been around 3, I'm thinking. I can't remember exactly.
Was she under the age of 5?
Yes.
And at that time, did you also meet an individual named Layla Daniel?
Yes.
And how old was she?
She was younger than Millie. I don't think she was quite 2 yet. Maybe she was 2.
During your visit to the Lamberts, did you speak with Ms. Lambert about why the children were in her care?
Yes, I had to do an assessment, like an intake, so yes, I would have asked that.
And when you do an assessment, what kind of information are you gathering?
Well, I just needed to know the background. In this case, because it was a defects case, I just needed to know the background and try to determine if there had, what type of trauma or issues had occurred in their lives. So I was just trying to get the background to figure out how they came into care.
And did you have any conversations with Millie Place?
I didn't really have a conversation with her. She did come in the room. I can't remember. It seems like she could talk, but I can't remember. It's been a long time and I can't remember exactly. Maybe she said hi.
Did you ever provide any therapy services for Millie and Layla?
No, I did not.
And what was the reason for that?
As a core provider, Pathways could not provide services to children under the age of 5 because those children can't receive a mental health diagnosis typically, and in order to provide core services, there has to be a DSM diagnosis.
And is this this rule about having to receive a DSM diagnosis prior to providing services, was that a rule that Pathways put up, or was it a more global rule?
It's a more global rule with Medicaid.
And was June 29, 2015 the only time that you met Millie Place and Layla Daniel?
Yes,
And other than that, you had no further contact with the children?
I did not.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Cross.
Good afternoon, Ms. Newman. My name's Corinne Mall. I just have a few questions to ask of you. Layla was not talking at the time, was not able to talk. She was too young, correct?
She did not speak when I saw her.
And she was with the Lamberts at that time.
She was.
And the Lamberts were defects foster parent, correct?
Yes.
And this was in June, this was June 2nd of 2015. Does that seem about right?
I don't know what date it was. I don't have access to those records anymore.
Well, let me show you let me see if this refreshes your recollection.
It looks like this says June 29th.
June 29th.
That's what it looks like it says.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Well, I don't remember the specific date, but
Okay, but you
I knew that it was in June.
knew it was in June of 2015. And Ms. Lambert gave you a history, medical history, so to speak.
Not real. I don't think there was a medical history.
Was it a social history?
Maybe.
And she told you that
Objection.
well, it's a history given to a practitioner, a therapist. And
She didn't provide therapy.
no, but she was going to, and I think she did provide some.
Her role was that of a therapist for Pathways transition at the time. Responsible for the state.
Your Honor, this witness testified that she never provided therapy services. She went out to assess, and it is hearsay. It's something that another individual told her.
And that individual is going to testify, Your Honor, so she'll be able to be cross-examined, otherwise I'd have to ask her to come back.
But this is related to diagnosis and treatment.
Yes.
That is part of an assessment, overall rejection.
Thank you. Ms. Lambert shared with you that Layla had anger problems, right?
Is that what it says on the paper?
Well, I'm asking you.
Well, I'm not going to be able to remember that. I haven't
Okay,
seen
we'll see
any
if
of that.
this refreshes your recollection.
Well, that's what it says here.
Does what does it say there?
Foster mother shared that Layla appears to have anger problems.
Okay. And she told you that Layla had not really had any contact with her mom since her birth, correct?
Yes,
And she told you that biological mother was on meth and her whereabouts were currently unknown, correct?
yes,
And she told you that Layla bites and scratches her older sister and her foster siblings when she is mad.
yes,
And she appears to have anger problems, especially related to food.
yes,
And you spoke to Miss White at some point, correct?
I either spoke to her or emailed her, I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Miss White on July 14th, 2015, that Millie can be very grown and she likes to be in adult conversations?
I don't.
You don't recall? See
No.
if this refreshes your recollection.
That's what it says here.
And Millie can be very grown and likes to be in adult conversation. Isn't it true that you also said you were going to see if one of your coworkers could take over because you had challenges with Layla because she was not verbal?
Well, that's what it says here, though I do not believe that I said that to her.
Okay, so you don't recall saying that to her.
No,
And do you recall telling her that Layla was not verbal and that was perhaps the reason why she was so aggressive?
I don't specifically recall that, but I do think that I would say that.
Okay, thank you.
You follow?
Just briefly, the information that you received about Layla biting and being aggressive was from the foster mother?
Yes,
Was that anything you ever observed while you were over there?
no.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. You can step down and you're excused.
Okay, thank you.
There's no objection. Hearing none, you're excused. Okay. Is this an appropriate time to take our mid-afternoon break, 15 minutes, bathroom break? Let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're excused from the jury holding room. You're also free to go anywhere you'd like to, so long as you talk on that administration.